learn Japanese by yourself? And if the answer is yes, what are the best strategies to achieve this? This is what we're talking today about. 皆さん、こんにちは. Welcome to my channel Nihonno Neko. I'm Daria and here we talk all about Japanese language learning. In today's video, I wanted to discuss can you learn Japanese by yourself and how to best to achieve that. So first of all, what do we mean when we say learn by yourself? If we talk about just on your own, no contact with other human being whatsoever, I don't think that's possible. However, if you have a right system in place, if you have sources and people to discuss that with, I really believe that it is possible. When we study by ourselves, one of the biggest struggles is to stay consistent. And this is so crucial to learning any language, especially Japanese. So what I encourage you to do is make sure you schedule your study times just like you would with a teacher. And make sure you dedicate yourself and keep these times as much as you can to stay consistent. And I know sometimes it's hard to do over and over the same thing and follow the same book or something like that, and this is why I encourage you to also try to change things up the moment you're tired of one particular way of studying, but change it to a different type of study. Don't quit study altogether, but change it up. For instance, you can study using certain book, and if you're tired of this book, go watch a YouTube video about certain grammar structure and try to use it that way. Or follow someone on Instagram and check what they have to say when they post Japanese content and things like that. So try to use different sources, but at the same time try to have a dedicated time. For instance, dedicate half an hour every day to study Japanese and stick with it. Now, the second point that I want to talk about is making it yours. And what I mean by this, when you consume content, whatever that is, a book, a video, or whatever, you're consuming it, but it is in a very passive way. And in the end of the day, to learn a language and to be able to use a language, you need to produce output, to say things, to write things, to come up with things yourself, rather than just consuming the content. And this is why I encourage you, whatever your study ways is, try to make it yours. If you have for instance, exercises in the book, and you just, mark correct, wrong, and choose the answer, don't do it just that way. For instance, look at those sentences and change a couple of words to make a different sentence on your own. Take it as an example and make it yours. The same way you can do with Instagram content. You see the example sentence that someone posted, change a couple of words up, make it yours, and maybe even write it down with your own hands. This way, when you write down something, you can remember it even more. The same way with grammar structures, kanji, all of that, make it yours. That will really enhance your learning ability. That will really help you learn faster and more efficiently. And when you do that, another thing to keep in mind is having accountability partner, having some kind of supporting community that will help your studies. For instance, there are a lot of Facebook groups that are about Japanese language learning. So when you come up with those examples that we were talking about before, you can post it on those groups and say, hey guys, is this a correct sentence? And most of the time, people will correct you. Or in the comments of the same post on Instagram that you saw and came up with a different sentence. Make sure you make it yours and you talk with someone about this. Another thing about accountability partner is that find a person online or offline to discuss that with and to daily keep each other accountable on your studies. For instance, you find someone who also wants to learn Japanese, and on a daily basis you're like, have you studied? Have you studied? Oh, I found this interesting. Oh, this was really helpful for me. Oh, and I found this interesting. And this way, you're not only exchanging information, but you also keep each other in track. Because, truth be told, humans are lazy creatures, myself included. No one is free of that. But if we have this feeling of responsibility in front of someone, then it's much more likely for us to stick to what we say. And this is why you want to have that accountability partner who will tell you, oh, I studied and you didn't? Why? And this way you really can make sure that you are being consistent. Really, when I started to study Japanese language, I tried to study by myself, and honestly, I did fail then. But then, it was more like 15 years ago, I had one book and no one around me who could study. And the internet wasn't quite there yet, there wasn't as many resources. With nowadays resources, you have websites with grammar structures, you have YouTube videos, you have Instagram, you have books that you can buy or even download PDF for free. There's so many resources. It's all about, can you make it yours? Can you consume that content and make it so that you are actually able to produce it yourself? This is where the key struggles are. And I want to help you out guys on this Japanese language learning journey, and this is why I'm gonna have a special offer on my Patreon to support your Japanese language learning studies and specifically to prepare for coming December JLPT. That said, if you are watching this video today, the day it came out, make sure to head over to my Instagram because we are having a giveaway to celebrate Nihonno Neko reaching 10,000 followers on Instagram. I want to celebrate this with you guys. This is our community and I'm so happy that Nihonno Neko tribe is growing. Today we have talked about a lot how to improve your learning and how to learn more efficiently. I know a lot of you also struggle a lot with listening and catching what Japanese people actually saying. And if you are one of those people, make sure you hit the notification bell because next week we're gonna talk all about listening and improving those listening skills that you actually can catch what Japanese people say. So if you're interested in that, make sure you hit the notification bell not to miss that video next Sunday. And that's it. I'm Daria. I have a video every Sunday for you, and until then, じゃあね!